All right. Happy holidays. I'd like to welcome all of you to another one of our co-founder pool funding trainings and updates. Uh, how do I share what I'm feeling right now? Um, if you're familiar with American football, when you're 15, 20, 25 yards away from the field goal.
Kick,
What's that?
kick it.
Well, not necessarily. But let me just finish, okay? When you're 15, 20, 25 yards away from the field goal, everything feels very positive, like okay, the team's gonna be able to make a touchdown. They're close enough that they should get a touchdown, right? But the funny thing is, um, for some reason, when you get right you get like 1 yard away from the field goal, that confidence gets a little bit challenged. You know what I'm talking about? How it feels, right? And what seemed really like, very, very confident, 15 yards away, when you're just 1 yard away, it's a bit of a nail biter. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, it's a feeling, right?
Absolutely.
So, I would say, um, you know, um, we have every reason to be very, very confident about what we're doing here, guys. But I'm just telling you the overall feeling can feel like a nail biter because everything is so close, but yet not. The goal hasn't been reached, right? Like the score, right? So we're gonna score, okay? Unlike football, we're not necessarily on a very finite timer. You know what I'm saying? And we just keep pushing until we score. That's the difference. That's why we can just stay confident because no matter what, we can push forward, okay, and make it happen. So we have the AI coming. We have we want to fill all the orders. All of these things are right there on the edge of being about to happen. We're so close, guys. But behind the scenes, we've been encountering a situation where once in a while, not it's not every time, but once in a while, a payment that should have gone to the sponsor ends up going to the guarantee. Okay. And that's not a low priority. I hope you guys understand how that's not a low priority if that kind of occurrence. Does that make sense, guys?
It's a high priority.
Oh yeah. Because I was
Absolutely.
everything's pivoting off of that, isn't it? So that's our pivot point. And so a lot of the things that we're working on, there's a we've made a lot of progress with we've filled more orders already, by the way. But they're not being filled like all of a sudden everybody's filled, which when everything's just like it's supposed to, it should be like that. It should be able to in a day or two or three, it should like every order get filled. But we need to insert like some landing pages and other things in between because right now we're driving traffic right to a registration page. But we had to put, that off for a minute. Okay. Creating those landing pages and linking it all properly and all that. And we also made a change in the process where a person is creating a wallet, right? Because we're automating the process of them taking a person that doesn't have MetaMask, right? And we add even greater clarification into how to do that properly. You know what I'm saying? So that's already done. But the next thing is to create the landing page and put that in front of it so they don't go to a registration page first. They go to a landing page. We grab some contact information from them, and then take them to the next step. So there's just a couple of little things we need to insert, but those things take attention, a great deal of attention to do properly. But we can't put our attention there if we're busy trying to figure out what the problem is over here with this pivot point. of is the sponsor being paid or is the guarantee being paid, right? So we put our attention over onto getting that resolved. So we believe we have the solution, and we're about to update the servers any moment now. Like probably during this meeting, the servers are going to be updated with something that's been gone through a lot of testing yesterday. That over here it's morning, guys. So the testing was done last night, our time, and then so we're going to be updating the server today. So what we've done is we've looked at potential causes for why this might happen from time to time. And it seems to be time zone related. Okay. So the funny thing is it's not happening every single time. Okay. So but we want to eliminate the whole issue of time zones being even a concern. Okay. So what we've done instead is there's something called universal time. Okay. I think it's referred to as UTC, right? So
Yes.
so basically, the server can look at UTC. So when someone makes a payment, okay, then when they make a payment, it's not just registering the time locally on their machine, right? When they made their payment, but it's also changing their status. This is something that hasn't been happening up until this update. So this update that's about to happen is a status change will happen of active or inactive. Okay. So we're inserting code so that there's a status. So when someone makes a payment, so it doesn't matter if you make your payment now and then exactly 20 hours later you make a payment again. The moment you make that payment, your status goes from whatever it was, active or inactive, to active the moment of making the payment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's the actual when you as a sponsor, when you make your payment, that's what matters, right? Because as long as you're making your payment, then the people below you will be paying you. That's the idea. So they make a payment, their status changes to active or remains active if they were already in active status. The only reason why you'd be inactive is that we have another what they call a cron job that every 5 minutes is checking when everybody made their last payment. Okay. And anything over 28 hours, UTC, universal time, anything over 28 hours would then flip them into inactive status. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And
it does.
Yes.
every 5 minutes it sweeps through and checks everyone to and updates their status as needed. Okay. From active to inactive or whatever. Okay. But regardless, the moment of making a payment, that should trigger active status. Okay. That's the change we're making to fix the problem that we've had. And I think that's better logic than, than the software trying to figure out, what time zone this person's in compared to what time zone that person's in and calculate the difference between the time zones and has it been 28 hours? That was way too complicated, and it was room for errors to be made in there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we've come up with. Okay. And there's one other thing that we haven't built in, but I want him to build it in too, because I think there's a potential that this could also be an issue, and that is the session. Okay. If a person's not actively on the website for longer than 50 minutes, they should be automatically logged out. Okay. Now that's not part of the update today, but that is going to be the next update, is that you get logged out if you're not on the page moving your mouse around on it. You know what I'm saying? If it's just static, idle, then get logged out. Okay, because what sometimes happens is there is I don't know, cache cookies. I don't understand all the stuff because it's above my pay grade. But there are stuff you can't see on your screen, but the computers are doing stuff. Does that make sense? And
Yes,
so
it does.
so you never know what kind of data is kind of clinging to a session, right? So it's better just to wipe out the session, right? So we don't have any Klingons, you
Yeah.
know, and and then there's nothing just residually sitting there, so that when a person clicks on their button, then it might have incorrect data attached to it for some reason. So that's something hopefully we'll get that coded today, where the session will time out in um after 15 minutes of inactivity. They're just not on the page. Most of you guys are using a phone, so you're going from one, you're on one thing or another,
Yeah.
right? And so if you're on something else, you're not on that, right? So it can tell whether you're actively looking at our website or not, regardless of what device you're on. So we'll just have the session close out that way. When you go back to the window that you had it, if it was longer than 50 minutes, you should see a new login page. Okay, that's what should happen. Now, what I'm talking about now is not been built yet, but that's something I want him to build, because to me, that covers all the bases. Then we don't have to worry about um, you know
Fishing.
any kind of missed data, right? It's going to use the active inactive status, and everything should be good. Now, it should also impact this. The update today should have an impact on this. Let me show you. Here we go. All right. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but you see how this says active right here? Okay. But the last payment was back in November 28th. Now that shouldn't be active. So the status here should show up whether they made a payment within the last 28 hours or not. So right now, if I refresh it and then go to referrals, go back to the $10 one. Yep. So right now, so the update hasn't happened yet, but it could happen any minute now. He's actually going to be updating shortly. Um, and the site could be down for a few minutes while it's being updated. That does happen briefly. But anyway, 1128, that should not be active. That should be inactive. Okay. So this is something to look for. Same thing with the $1 pool. Got a few more referrals here. Like that one should be inactive. Even this one from the 11th, that should be inactive, right? That kind of
Hmm.
thing. Okay. Anyway, so by um by doing it this way, I think we will have conquered the issue that was coming up and requiring our attention. And I hope you guys appreciate that. When it comes to development, priorities are ever shifting depending on a lot of factors. So I'm kind of educating a little bit on what goes on behind the scenes, but we're on it. We have awareness, and we're very much we want to um, make sure that everything works as advertised, for sure, right? That's what we want. So, um, having a little bit of an ant problem here. Got for some reason a bunch of ants want to come up on the table for some reason. Anyway, the joys of having an outdoor office here. Anyway, so any questions regarding this update?
Yeah, I have a
Okay, go ahead,
question.
Brett. Go ahead, Brett.
So just to reiterate what you had said about the payment. Now, that's awesome that you've got it set up that way, because it doesn't matter when you make that payment, but as long as we're all in the communication, because what I was understood is that my referrals that are paying me, if they pay before I pay during the day, I don't get the money.
Well, it didn't work that way. The way it works is that you have 28 hours to make your payment, regardless of what time they make their payment. But the problem is when you're using time zones, then what you're describing could be the case. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we don't want that to be the case. Does that make sense?
Right. That's yeah, you cleared it right up, because I knew that was the case, that if it didn't matter when I made the payment, I just wanted to verify that, so that the folks that I am working with, they understand that.
The idea is that you have 28 hours, not 24. So that way, by giving you 28 hours, you have less of a concern to your timer doesn't show. I mean, not your timer, but your pay now button should not show up until 20 hours later. If you make a payment now, right, and the payment gets completed, right, it tells you not to change your browser until it's completed, right? So that's an important instruction, right? Don't leave your browser, right?
That's correct.
Because that could create an issue because it's in a process, right? And it usually just takes seconds. It's not. I mean, 20 seconds is the longest I've seen it take. It's usually just I've seen it do it in 4 or 5 seconds, all the way up to 20. So. But it also might depend on the speed of your internet where you're at. But shouldn't too much. It's just an update. So
Thanks.
you make your payment, and then your status should change instantly upon making the payment to active, and it should every 5 minutes it's going to be checked for 28 hours. That you are 28 hours away from or less from your last time you made your payment, and anything over 28 hours universal time, regardless of what local time you're in. Okay. Eliminating the whole local aspect of it. You guys like looking at when you make your payment, you like looking at the transaction history in local time. So that's why you see that, right? You're not looking at server time, you're looking at local time. So when you make your payment, it shows your time, not the time of your referrals or whatever when they made their payment, right? According to their time, right? So your view will still stay the same, but when it comes to the aspect of directing where the payment goes, does it go to the guarantee? Does it go to the sponsor? That all needs to be based on universal time, and it is according to this update that was described to me. That's about to be flipped on any moment now. That's what it's going to be based on. And the telltale should be, be able to look at the status. That should be the telltale, at least the way I understand it. Understand that my programmer is Filipino, so there is a language barrier. So hopefully, I'm 100% on what I'm saying to you right now. Sometimes I wonder, but
I have one thing that I'd like to add to that. Then,
yeah.
if that's the case, then Ace, where are we at for time? Like, are we on your time then for where 0 hour is?
No,
Do you understand?
as far as you're concerned, you shouldn't be concerned about when, what time anything is, because I'm just telling
Doesn't.
you, I'm telling you code stuff underneath the surface that you don't
Yeah.
even need to be aware of. I'm just telling you that the code was working, and it was doing calculations and whatnot based on local times,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And there's room for error because there's too many local times to account for. You know what I'm saying? There's,
No, I totally get.
yeah.
I understand. So there's just one zone, one time zone now.
Yes, it's no. What I'm saying
Or,
is, what you're not gonna notice that on your screen, but
yeah.
in the software, how does the software work? I'm telling you how the engine works. Okay.
Yeah. No, and I get that.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you underneath the hood, the update is going to be based on all payments are going to be based on universal time,
Right on.
which is it doesn't matter, it's the same around the world. The universal time is the same around the world. Okay. And some people call it server time, but it's UTC. Okay. All right.
Thank,
So
thank,
all right. So Pastor Carl, how you doing? You got
Hey, good evening, everyone. I had kind of left a message for you earlier, last night too, because I had like the same situation, and my sponsor Tim had suggested that when we send off our payment to our sponsor to look at the wallet address where it's going and make sure it matches, but I didn't really know how to do that. So my referral sent out the 111 and the 10
yeah.
and the 1 went to the guaranteed fee, but fortunately,
Pastor, I'd rather not get into individual cases. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Because then
So,
we
so,
we'll be here times 49 people with all their individual cases, and it'll confuse.
so do you think we can check the contract address to make sure it's going to the right person when we send it?
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, leave it
that's
over there. I got in, but
hang on. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean you can look at that. So the uh if you know what your sponsor's address is, you can tell when you click on continue, it'll be the screen comes up to confirm. You can look at the very top. It tells you from and to, right? And
Okay,
you can look
okay,
at
I
the to
understand that.
address, and if you know your sponsor's address, you could look and see if it's the same,
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. Okay.
right? But then again, you don't always know if your sponsor missed a day, you know what I'm saying? So we really don't want people to be, that kind of, we don't want this to be hard, right, Pastor? Right? So
Yeah,
people should just commit, make a habit, make a payment every day, and just go with that, right? So you're getting a coin every time you do it, and we don't want to make this like we don't want the user experience to be anything other than easy, right? So if you want to add to easy, that should be at the individual level. Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay. So that's how I want to handle that idea. I don't want to say everybody's got to do this now. Then all of a sudden to me that would probably, make confidence go down, not up. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So it's better to just say, hey, it's easy, click a button and you're done, And for the most part, if there's something that's weird happens, those reports come in, right, to me or whatever, and then we deal with it. And that's how it works, right? So anytime there's an issue, then people bring it up and they do it one-on-one instead of in a group setting. Anytime
Okay,
there's a
thank you.
particular issue. And that's the best protocol. All right, thank you, Pastor. Joe, you got your hand up.
Hi, Ace. Hi, everybody. Um, yeah, I just wanted to make a comment regarding, trying to make the platform as easy as possible so that everyone can feel comfortable when they get on and they're transacting. And in order to do that, there are some hits and misses along the way. And some of the bumps in the road, you just have to smooth them out. And so I think most of us here, understand that what we're trying to do and your programmers are working behind the scenes, taking care of these little bumps. And like again, you mentioned about being on the 1 yard line and so close. And I think a lot of us believe that and we feel that. We know that this is going to be, a fantastic program when everything comes together as you have designed it to be.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to mention, I think we have enough people here that have enough patience, to work through some of these little bumps. And, we'll just work them out and go on from there. So just wanted to make that comment.
That's an excellent comment, because what you're basically saying is like, hey, guys, don't sweat it,
Yeah.
don't expect perfection in anything, because you'll just lead yourself straight to disappointment by expecting perfection anywhere, right? And
Right.
these are just bumps in the road. They're not catastrophic by any means. That's the point you're making, right? So,
Yeah,
and
right. And
it's
the
pretty
train's on the track.
it's pretty normal stuff, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
The train's on the track, and when it's just starting, you can put a small board in front of the wheel, and it's going to stop it won't allow the train to go down the track. But once you get some momentum going, it's these little hiccups and challenges that come in with programming and how things are operating. We'll be able to iron those all out and move forward in a positive way. So that's it.
All right. So let me share my screen. The update's done.
Thank you.
Let me take a look here. So if you recall that this said active before, now it says inactive. So it's working. All right. $1 pool. Yep. So 12-12, 12-12. So those are active. 12-11, inactive. 12-6, inactive. Before, all four of them were active, a moment ago when I showed it to you before. Okay. So there you go, guys. So now you can just look and see at the referral level whether your referrals are active or inactive. We could probably add something to the profile, so that like a status, like an active inactive status on profiles as well. That way you can click on your sponsor and you can see if they're active or inactive, right? But that's another thing that's not built yet. That's making a change to the profile. But that's an idea that I think would be a good one. So 15-minute sessions, add that to the profile for your sponsor, build a genealogy. Okay. And let me just I just heard that someone made a $1 payment, so let me just check and see. Status should have changed on the $1. Okay, so right now it says inactive. I'm going to refresh the screen. Referrals. I got to go back to the $1. And now it says active. Okay. So it went from inactive to, it was just literally just set a few seconds ago. This payment was made. Boom. Just like that, guys. It's working. All right. But great point there, Joe. Appreciate you saying that. I think a lot of people think that everything works on, schedules and timelines and like, everything is, like this is going to be done by that time and that's going to be done by that time. Well, as co-founders, you need a reality check. Okay. And that is no, the reality is it could happen sooner. It could happen on time, like we think we want, or it could happen later, right? Because we're dealing with variables, right? So we know we have the goal. So unlike the football analogy I was using earlier, where you have a finite amount of time to make the goal or you lose the game, right? That is not true for success. Okay? That is not true. You're not dealing with finite time, but we do have to properly set expectations. And that's what I'm trying to do in today's update is I want everybody to understand we got this, we got this, we got this, we got that. We got these many things. We're all pushing many balls forward, right? But sometimes that we have to reprioritize, like this was where our attention was, and now our attention has shifted over here because this is very important, you know. So we have a lot of things we want to do, but they happen one at a time, right? So they happen one at a time, and we have to prioritize that time until we get bigger. We're not a $1 billion operation, you know. We get bigger. I'll get to you, Vic, in a second. Until we get bigger, and we can have multiple programmers working on segments of the operation, but that's just not the case today. Hope you guys understand. We're small today, going to become big. That's the deal. All right, Vic, you had your hand up for a moment. You had a
Yeah, just a quick question because I may
Sure.
have missed a couple of meetings. It was my understanding that we were working on depositing funds and they would be paid automatically.
Yeah,
And
that
has
that
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 been
that
corrupt
is
or
that is one of
delayed, or where
that is
are we on
yeah
that?
I appreciate bringing that up because that is a ball that I talked about it with the programmer this week, but that's not something that can be done in just one day. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it's we're gonna need to dedicate 2 or 3 days to make sure test it, make sure it works properly, and all that, right? So
Okay, fine.
that
It's just
it's
wanted to know
coming.
where an update was on that. Right. Thank you very much.
It's not the highest priority, but it's in the top 5.
All right. Thanks, Ace.
Okay. All right. So, but I'm gonna show you guys what success really looks like. Okay. You guys want to see what success looks like?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I can tell you this is true from personal experience. Here we go. All right. So unlike the football analogy I was using earlier, um, yeah, here we go. What if there's a way to make that open imaging tab? I gotta get rid of something here. What do I want to get rid of? Yeah, here we go. And we go Command plus, make that nice and big. All right, you see this image okay here?
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
This is what people expect, right? They expect, hey, I joined here, and here's where we're going, and basically the job should just be like, boom, straight line, right? But tell me something in your life. Tell me one thing in your life. I don't care what it is that works like that. I don't really think you can be honest and say anything in your life goes like that. Is that true or not true?
Very true.
Okay.
True.
Okay. Success looks more like this, guys. You're going great for a while, then all of a sudden, wait, where are we going? I mean, this is so messed up right here. I can't even tell how to follow the line. Oh, huge, big high, oh, sudden low, you know. But yeah, they did a good job of really making it look like a mess here because success is a messy process, guys. And that unlike football, we're not on finite time. So the good news is that we don't have to worry about the timing of when we are start here and where we end up there. The only thing that really matters is that we get there, right? Like, for example, um, if you want something to happen this month, the month of December, okay, will you be disappointed it doesn't happen in the month of December? If it doesn't happen, sure. But what if the same thing you were expecting December actually becomes exactly what you want in February? How are you going to feel in February? Right? How are you going to feel in February?
Awesome.
Happy.
Incredibly happy.
Yeah.
Great.
So even though the expectation might be a particular time frame, say December, right? But if we allow flexibility on, it's basically on the inside. I call it response ability, right? So say it with me, guys. Response ability.
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
Yeah,
But say it separate.
Yeah.
Instead of saying responsibility, say response ability. And that's the ability.
response. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it
Okay.
because
So
that's what it is.
yeah, because a co-founder, okay, is not going to be responsible. A co-founder should be response able ability. Okay. As a co-founder, you should be like, fine, didn't happen when we thought it would, but guess what? We're still going to get there, right? And we don't let the emotional low fall into place. You know what I'm saying? Because it's contagious.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do we manage that? Because it's contagious. Okay. Your highs and your lows are contagious. What do you want to spread? If you're trying to build something, do you want to spread the high or do you want to spread the low? What do you want to spread?
The highs.
You want to spread highs. So even if something bad happens, we don't feel bad, right?
So, yeah.
If something gets delayed, we don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Response. That means you are in control of you, right? Who's in there tinkering with your thoughts? Am I the one tinkering with your thoughts, or are you the one making the ultimate choice on what you think? Am I the one tinkering with your feelings, or are you the one that's choosing the feelings you want to have, right? Anytime you give people outside control over your thoughts or your feelings, you are out of control.
Yeah.
Response ability gives you the power to maintain your control over you, because what matters to you is your success.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if you can accept the mess in between the origin to the destination and all that mess that goes in between, if you can accept that as a reality, then your response ability should be calm no matter what happens. It's going to be good. You're going to remain excited, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because unlike the football analogy I was using, we're not on a finite time. It doesn't matter if we can get that 1 yard done today, next week, 2 weeks from now. It doesn't matter, right? In football, they're down to seconds. They got to get it done in a matter of seconds or game over, right? But we don't have that problem. But I can tell you how it feels. I know that if we get into a situation where we think, well, this should, right? But all that's outside of you, right? Then you're not really being fair to you. And you got to look at it that way. Why are you hurting yourself? Why do you let yourself feel bad about things that have nothing to do with you? Right? Don't let that happen. You should respond on the high. You should stay high. It is called keeping a positive attitude, right? Right? You've heard people talk about how the value of a positive attitude. It all ties in, but I'm using this exact situation that we're in right now. And I want you to realize that we're so close. Like if I stick my tongue out, I'm not going to do that because it'll look funny on camera. But if I stick my tongue out, I could probably touch the success I'm after right now. That's how close the success is. It's just I'm that close to getting everything where I want it to be. But yet it has that feeling of the 1 yard and and this is it. We got to make the goal, right? So that's kind of how it feels. But I'm saying that we have to, each one of us have to manage that within ourselves and like be willing to go, it's all good, right? I mean, we want to keep things moving along, and so we got to be very careful how we're leading our team, right? We shouldn't get too caught up in other people's problems, right? Just because Mary had a problem doesn't mean everybody has the same problem that Mary has, right? And
Yeah.
we don't want to sit there and stop what our team is doing because we heard about what happened to Mary. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's illogical, right? Unless it's happening to everybody all the time, why are we concerned about what happens to Mary? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
It's a level of devotion.
Right. But the problem we have is we're community and we talk to each other, you know what I'm saying? And we don't realize the impact we're having on each other. A lot of us are not conscious of our words, what we say, and that we're actually our own worst enemy a lot of times because we haven't responsibility properly before the words came out of our mouth, right? Or even words on, typing out the words, right? What we type to each other. Sometimes texting is faster than verbal. So I want us all to like, just realize that we're close, we're excited, we know what we're doing. Success is it's got fruit along the pathway. So we see fruit today. Today you have an active, inactive status on your referral thing that wasn't there yesterday. That's fruit,
Mhm.
evidence of moving forward. Okay. And we should be
So,
happy to get the fruit as it comes along the way, but it's not the ultimate fruit. But it sure tastes good to have fruit, right? Enjoy the fruit along the journey. Okay, it's going to be plenty of it. Enjoy every little bit that happens, but realize that we can have targets and we can have time frames and we can have goals and all that. We're on a mission. But we have to we have to use our reasoning power to make sure that we're not the reason why everything is slowing down, right? Especially in a leadership role, right? The more people that you influence, the more powerful you are in the community. You have to be even more aware of what I'm talking about right now. Okay. I'll get back to you in a minute, David. So it's very, very important as anybody that's got that leadership, you really, really, really have to question what you are doing. You have to really question it because if you're spreading anything that falls in the category of doubt, concern, if you spread that, you're not protecting your team. You're bringing harm to your team. Okay.
mm,
Okay.
yeah.
You don't know how many straw is already on the back of each member of your team and when is going to be their last straw, right? And you might be the one placing a straw on the back of your teammate and they collapse because you underestimated their power, right?
Yeah.
So let's not spread other people's problems onto, everything should be case by case, situation by situation. And let's make sure that when we're communicating, we're doing so in a positive way, accurate but positive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to spread any misinformation. I'm just saying sometimes it's better to withhold information. Okay. Just because you know something doesn't mean you got to tell everybody, right?
Right.
Right? I mean, this is not
Yeah.
just true in business, this is true in life. I mean, sometimes you can't help but be in a group of people and you overhear something, right? And that's how rumors get started and, whatever. But even if it's true, if you're the one spreading it when it wasn't, your job to spread anything. So again, check yourself and just check, how are you going to impact your own group of people that you're inside of pool funding? And if it's gonna make them feel bad, why not say anything? Why do you have to say something? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Only a puffed up, proud person would say, no, I must say something, right? Only someone full of pride thinking that they are somehow the deal and, would feel like they have to say everything, right? I'm just telling you, the only personality type I got to worry about are the puffed up proud. It's the only personality type I got to worry about because they will not listen to what I'm saying right now. Okay. But anybody that's reasonable will understand that we're in this together, and it's important that we don't make it heavy for anyone. We want this to be easy, right? And even when there's challenges, we don't necessarily have to burden the weakest member with the challenges that we might be going through collectively. Does that make sense? They don't need to know.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Especially when
Right.
challenges are temporary. Why take someone that's, kind of passively, casually participating in pool funding, not really paying a lot of attention to it, and then throw something heavy on them? You know what I'm saying? Like they're the boss of it or something. You know what I'm saying? When they're not, right? No, they don't need to know. If it was important for them to know, they would be in the middle of things. You guys that show up every meeting, you're in the middle of things. You're getting the nitty gritty from the source. Okay. The nitty gritty right here. Very transparent, right? So there you go. So we want to kind of I'm kind of establishing the culture that is going to work for us. So yes, we have our high expectations, we have targets, we do have time frames. We do like to say, when we think something's going to happen, but we don't want to do it in blood or make it in stone or something like that because if we do that, we're just kind of cutting our own throats. You know what I'm saying? Right? And we don't want to be held to that level. This is not life or death if something happens by a particular date. This is just business. And sometimes what didn't happen in this quarter of business can go just exactly like we want in the next quarter of business. And that's the business world at large, not just pool funding. Okay? Right? All right, Debbie, thank you for your patience. I got everything out I wanted to say.
All right. In regards to what Joe was saying, and look, I think it was looking for transactions or whatever. It's also if you scroll down once you've made your payment, you can see that whoever your sponsor is, that it went to your sponsor. Otherwise, it'll say went to the guarantee fund or whatever.
Yeah, that's after the fact. Yeah, but yeah, that's true. So after you've made
And
your
then
payment,
another,
then you'll know where and absolutely, so that's a good point. Let me share my screen and let's just have so people can see what you're saying because the software tells you this all along. So transaction history. So in my case, I'm an Ace Fletcher, but my sponsor is the guarantee, right? That is my sponsor. So it's always going to go to the guarantee regardless in my case. But for you, you can see, did it go to your sponsor or did it go to the guarantee? Okay. So right here in the transaction history. So every time you make a payment, okay, it's going to show up here.
like Don, who just made his payment while we were in this Zoom, is he was not paid since the 6th, and now it says paid to Ace Fletcher, and it shows today's date.
Right. And on his end, it would show the same thing. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So another thing was if someone is making their payment at 9 o'clock, since we're on this universal time, it's not 9 o'clock Eastern time or 9 o'clock Central time, it's 9 o'clock. the pay button goes away. It was there. You hit the pay button to pay, you paid, and now it goes away and it'll show up 20 hours later. So it'll
Mhm.
show up again at 4 hours before 9 o'clock. So you have 4 hours before 9 o'clock or 4 hours
5 o'clock.
after.
Yeah, so 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when the
And,
button shows up. That doesn't make you don't have to make your payment. Then you can make your payment every day at 9 every day. But if
but
some
once
days
the
you make
button
it at
shows up, how
8, or
much
if you
time do
make
you
it
have?
at 10, you got 8 hours from the time that the button shows up. So
Okay.
the button shows up after 20 hours, right? So
That's why I said the
yeah,
5 o'clock. That's
yeah. So you click, and then it goes 20 hours. The button appears. Now you got 8 hours. That button is available to you for 8 hours to click on it again, right? And there you go.
yes.
Sometimes people will double click the button, and I've seen this happen. But hey, if you already made a payment and you still see a button, okay, just refresh your browser, reload it, right? It's probably some sort of a residual there. So, but that's generally not a problem. And that's why I want the whole session thing in place. That's why I want to do that next. But yeah, we
And
have quite a few things we're working on. There's a list of things we're working on, guys. Okay, go ahead, W.
And the one last thing that you had said from the beginning is I wasn't sure if you said 50 or 15 to where it automatically logs out, but isn't even 15 minutes kind of a long time to log out if there's no activity with the mouse moving? I mean, from a security standpoint.
It's not, it's standard.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, because you have to face it. Some people like to type out their password. They don't like to just use the automatic thing. And some people have some pretty long passwords. So for those people, if they were just got distracted for 5 minutes and they were already logged out after only 5 minutes, it'd frustrate those people. So that's why 15 minutes is kind of the standard
Yeah, exactly.
session in the computer world. Okay. We'll stick to the default standard, you know. And this our website's all custom. We didn't buy a website off the shelf and then insert stuff into it. This is not what they call a WYSIWYG. This is a fully custom. The database, everything is written line by line, code by code. Just so that we can have it do what we want it to do, exactly what we want it to do.
Mhm.
And when it doesn't do it, we figure out why, and then we change it, right? Which is kind of what we're talking about here. Dean and Dina, you got your hand up.
Hey Ace, how you doing, brother?
Good. I got two more announcements to make. So right after I'm talking to you, I'll share two more
I'll
announcements.
try to be quick. Hey, I was just thinking about that refresh thing. So do you think we'll have to re-log in each time we come back to MetaMask?
Well, yeah, if you're doing it on a phone, you're using the you're using the MetaMask browser, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Right now we don't have to. Every time I go in, it's automatically connected. I just go. I was just curious if you thought we'd have to re-log back in. Which, if that's what we have to do, that's fine. I was just curious.
I don't know. I mean, see, I'm always thinking in terms of computers, but I know it's different on. So that is thanks for bringing the question up. I'll bring it. I'll shift that right over to the program because I'm not sure how it would impact someone on MetaMask
Yeah.
because MetaMask, will automatically close, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, but we're automatically connected with Full Funding right now, which is really convenient because man, you just go in there, boom, 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 you're done.
It's probably going to be the same. I don't think it may not have an impact on people on a phone as much as people on a computer.
Nope.
But I don't know. Can
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
So, man, I just want you to know we're excited, dude. We're excited about where we came from. We're excited about where we're going, and we're excited about where we sit. And I've had a lot of conversations with people on this Zoom this week, and they're good conversations, and we're just excited, dude. I just want you to know that, hey, man, we're excited about where this is going, and I'm so looking forward to what you're doing.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Very exciting. So, two more announcements. One is that I already mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. We'll probably put I don't know. I don't know if I need to do a poster on this or not. But basically, um, we're not going to have a Sunday co-founder meeting because the holidays, you know, and whatnot. So we're dropping Sunday co-founder meetings. So we're going to have two co-founder meetings and one opportunity meeting per week. We were having three co-founder meetings, but now it'll be two, dropping Sunday. Because before it was Sunday, Monday, and then we'd have the opportunity meeting on Tuesday, and then we have another co-founder meeting on Thursday. So now it's going to be Monday and Thursday for co-founder meeting and Tuesday for the opportunity meeting. So you guys
Awesome.
enjoy your Christmas parties or whatever else it's this time of night, 9:30 for you guys in the East Coast. A lot of you want to be at a party, not on a Zoom call, So
No, I want to be on the Zoom call. Absolutely.
yeah. So
For sure.
To each his own, to each his own. But we kind of have a party going on here too, in a way. But yeah, so that's it, guys. The next thing is my executive assistant, Maria Hernandez. Today is her last day to work, and then she is going on a holiday vacation starting on the 14th until the 5th of January. So she'll be on a holiday vacation. I know you guys
Enjoy.
I know you guys will miss her, but you just reach out to me directly. You need something, anything you would have taken to her, take directly to me, okay? Because I'm not going on a holiday vacation. I'm
Or
here.
perhaps your sponsor or
Well,
someone upline.
What's that?
Or
Huh?
reach out to a sponsor or upline. You're going to have a
Right,
lot of
right. No,
attention going to you if they're not going to Maria.
The assumption was that anything you would have taken to Maria, you can take to me. Not that I want you guys to take everything to me, and I'm not saying that you were taking everything to Maria. Yeah, always, the relationship you should have with your sponsor is that something comes up. That's the first person you talk to. That's just like, if you can't figure it out yourself, ask your sponsor. You know what I'm saying? And generally, somewhere along the line, with sponsor or even someone above the sponsor, usually the questions can be sorted out that way. But if it's like you notice something on the website and it doesn't quite look right to you, then that's something you would normally take to Maria, because she has direct access to the programmer, right? Well, I have direct access to the programmer too. But if there's something odd, bring it to my attention. Many of you already do that anyway. Many of you like do it to both Maria and to me. It's fine, But she's going to be on a holiday, family holiday vacation. So hope you guys can appreciate that. She's been working very hard, and we appreciate her. But she's going to take a break. It's family time. So, and I think on average she deals with about 12 different inquiries a day on average. So it's not like we're overwhelming her by any means. So
She's awesome.
yeah. So she's good. So yeah, those are my two announcements. So I don't know when we'll start back up on Sundays or if we will. I've got people that think that we shouldn't be doing anything on Sunday U.S. time. Realize that Sunday U.S. time is Monday my time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to every Monday, but it happens to be your Sunday. So that's how it goes around the world. But we'll see how it goes. Right now with the team that we have, 3 get-togethers with the creator founder should be enough per week, I would think, to make people feel like that we're on the ball and we care, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
you do.
So, I was doing this 7 days a week to demonstrate that, but I dropped it down to 4. Now we're dropping it down to 3. Okay. So there we go. I guess that covers everything I wanted to do. Dean, you got your hand still up?
Yep, sorry about that, but yeah, I
Oh.
do. But here, lower
Oh.
it. But hey, Ace, I just can I speak to the culture for a minute because
Sure, yes.
I'm going to tell you what. This week I've had a bunch of conversations with people that aren't even on my team. They're not in my downline. They're not anywhere, but they're in the family, and we're all helping each other. And it just I haven't never experienced such a culture as we have with full funding, and I really really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I think we have got something special here, as we're different, and it's in a good way, we're different. Oh, Dell from Denver, I'll let you interject. Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to piggyback what Dean just mentioned about the friendliness and the helpful attitude. I want to celebrate Hunter. Hunter helped me with a team member today enthusiastically, and it's an example of what you were talking about earlier, about what success looks like. The crooked, squiggly line. What we accomplished today, we had set up to happen last week about this time, and that was one of the exit ramps. So we were still able to accomplish what I set out to do. So thank you, Hunter. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll use that for the screenshot for this video, for the thumbnail.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because people
Good
got to
choice.
realize we're gonna make everybody happy. I always like to tell people all's well that ends well. You know what I'm saying? And if let's say your priority in life, okay, is to be happy, the only way you can ever be happy is to be responsibility. Okay? You're not going to be happy if you turn the control over how you're feeling and how you're thinking over to other people. Okay? So when you are in charge of you, then you get to choose to be happy, and then you're happy, right? So your people are about as happy as they make up their mind to be, as Abraham Lincoln said. So so when that's it. So if being happy is a priority in your life, then make sure that you're not turning your power over to other people or things. Don't ever turn your power over to things like institutions, for God's sake. But I know sometimes we turn our power over to our spouses or to our children. Don't do it. Not worth it.
No.
Keep your power, be responsibility. Show that you're able to respond in a way that's the high road, not the low road, And that
I
way,
love it.
we all get where we want to get there easier because we all have the right mindset, we're not tripping each other up, That's it.
Responsibility.
Yeah, the ability to respond, right?
Yes.
We should
Awesome, dude.
never give up our control over that.
Right.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Well, thank you all for coming to another one of our meetings. Let's go ahead and say it again for the final time. Responsibility.
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 I love
Thank
it.
you.
All right, we'll close out the recording.